So I'd like to start by asking, can you tell us your name?
Alice.
Alice. And where were you born, Alice?
I was born in Brighton. Well, it wasn't Matlock Road, it was a road off of Matlock Road.
Okay, and what year was that?
Oh, you check that.
1918.
1980.
1918, okay. And did you spend all your childhood in Brighton?
No.
Where did you go?
Pycombe.
Okay.
My childhood was in Pycombe.
Okay, so how old were you when you went there? Can you remember?
Yes, we moved to Pycombe when I was 4.
Okay.
And was there the rest of the time.
And did you have brothers or sisters?
2 brothers.
Okay. And did you have a teddy bear?
Only a little teddy, well, a teddy bear with no legs.
Why did it have no legs?
I suppose somebody must have given it to me. Somebody had finished with it, I expect. And he had a grey top and red trousers.
And can you remember how big he was? Was he a little bear or a big bear?
Probably awkward, medium.
Okay. What was it made out of?
Some sort of material.
And when it was given to you, do you know if it was new or if it was already second-hand?
It was second-hand.
So it was even older than that then?
Yes.
And you said someone gave it to you. Can you remember who? No.
It's a long time ago.
I know. And did you play games with him?
I expect so. I'm sure I did.
Did he have a name?
No.
No, most people's teddies didn't, I think. They were just their teddy, weren't they?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And can you remember how you felt about him? Were you obviously still remember him, so were you fond of him? Did you like him?
Oh, yes. He was a nice old chap. And he said, I had a dolly, a nice dolly, and she had a cradle, and Teddy sat in the cradle with her.
So the teddy and the dolly were friends then?
Yes, they were.
And you played games with them. He didn't just sit there on his own watching you.
Games, pretending games.
Mm. And I assume you don't still have him?
No.
So, what do you think your best memory of him is?
Of Teddy?
Of Teddy?
I don't really know. I know he sat in the end of the cradle. Dolly was at one end. Teddy sat in the other end. He was like a brother to my Dolly.
So, tell me about your dolly then. What was she like?
She was nice. I had it for a Christmas present one year when I was quite young. And the head was china. She had real hair. The head was china, but the body was, in those days, was a material body. And the one I had was black material body. It was given to me with all the dolly clothes on.
So, again, what size was she? Was she the size of your hand or bigger?
Oh, no. Quite big, really. Like that.
And you said she came with clothes. What sort of clothes did she have?
The old-fashioned type of clothes.
Mm.
And my mother, when she got her dressed in a white, like a baby's christening robe. That went to a robe. And the funniest thing was, she had donkey's ear bags. Do you know what that is?
No, tell me.
I thought that might surprise you. It was, today we'd say knickers, but this was donkey's ear bags. They used to put them on, tie them under the knee, and a drawstring at the back. And they were generally known as donkey's ear bags.
I love that. I've never heard that term before. That's lovely. So, who was she given to you by?
My mum, on Christmas.
Do you know how old you were when you got her?
I don't know exactly, but I think I would have been about 5.
So you said she had a cradle as well.
Yes.
So she had a cradle and she had clothes.
Yes.
Did she have anything else?
A shawl. I wanted to take her out, want to carry her.
And how did you play with her?
Not just pretend games. I sort of pretended she was real.
Was she very important to you?
Yes, she was when I was younger. Because in those days we didn't have a lot of things. Yes, she was important.
And again, I assume you don't still have her.
No.
Do you know when you stopped having her? How long did you have her for?
I'm not sure of the date. I had her until I was in the forces, and my mother gave her away to a little evacuee girl. When I came home, my dolly had gone. So I'd have been 24, 5.
Okay, how did you feel about the doll being given away? Did you mind, or?
I did really mind. I thought I should have been asked if I wanted to give it away. But it was just done when I wasn't there.
Oh, well, hopefully the other little girl really liked it.
I expect she did.
Yes.
She hadn't got anything. Her name of the dolly was Violet.
Okay, that's a lovely name.
My mother's name for her.
Did she have hair?
Yes, she did.
What was her hair like?
Well, she had a fringe, and it came to about here on her face.
What colour was her hair?
Well, what we call mousy brown.
And again, what would you say is your best memory of her?
Well, I used to take her out and play with her. Didn't have a dolly's pram, but I did have this cradle. And I used to take her out and make it up, and to take her out and sort of tidy up the bed, things like that. Tidy up the cradle.
And did Teddy used to go with her when you took her out, or?
I think he must have done. Can't actually remember, but I'm sure he must have done.
So, this is a bit of an odd question. Did you have any action figures? Any sort of like other types of dolls or anything that weren't babies?
No, I don't think I did, no.
No, I assumed you wouldn't. They're a bit later,
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
those. So is there anything else about your doll or your teddy that you can remember?
Not really.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you about construction toys. Did you have any construction toys? So things like bricks or Meccano, anything you made things out of?
No, I didn't, but the boys did. I didn't.
And were the boys older than you, or?
One was older and one was younger.
And what did they have?
Meccano and I don't know what else. I remember Meccano.
Did you ever play with it?
No, weren't allowed to. That was theirs.
Did you want to play with it?
I wanted to be fiddling.
You didn't used to sneak in and play with it when they were out, or?
No.
How do you remember how they played with it? Did they make things out of it, or?
Yes, yes. My eldest brother used to make things out of it.
What sorts of things?
That's a long time ago. They used to build bridges for one thing, didn't they?
Did you have any bricks?
Yes. I had something called, which I'd completely forgotten until you mentioned it, something called weenie bricks. And they each piece slotted into each other, and you could make scenes with that.
So, what was that made out of?
Some sort of metal tin, I'm sure.
And you say you made scenes out of it. With what sort of scenes?
Remember.
No. Maybe houses or streets or...
It's houses. That's right. Not streets, I think. But yes, I did make houses.
So, you said you didn't have many toys. Was there anything that you really wanted but you couldn't have?
No. No.
So you were quite happy just having a few toys?
Yes. Well, nobody had lots of toys in those days. We all had a few favourite ones.
So, you had the bear, you had the doll, you had the cradle. Was there any other toys that you had that you can remember?
No.
I've just been past this for you. I've just been past Sonny Jim.
Oh, yes, Sonny Jim. Yeah.
Take him so the camera can see him.
Sonny Jim. Yeah. This isn't the original one. I don't know if you remember the cereal called Force, do you? Well, when I was young, we had it at home, and if you sent the packet tops and a small amount of money, they sent you a Sonny Jim as featured on the box. And I don't know where that ended up, but years later, they said people could send up and buy one, and I wanted one so badly because I did like my Sonny Jim. So there he is. This is not the original, of course.
So did you have one as a child?
Yes, I did. My mother got it for me.
And did he come, do you remember, did he come ready-made, or did he have to be sewn together?
Oh no, it came just like that. This is an exact replica. Only this is much later years. I couldn't resist sending for him when they were advertising.
Are there any other memories of dolls or bears or construction toys you'd like to talk about? I know there's a couple of other bears.
Lots of boys' bears.
You can talk about the boys' bears if you want, but any others of your own to start with?
I did have a dolly's cooking stove, and I was allowed to do a little bit of cooking on. It's only a small thing, but you put a little bit of oil in, do half a dozen chips or something like that.
So it did real cooking?
Yes.
When you say it was a stove, was that putting stuff on the top of it or inside the stove?
It was both.
Okay. And do you remember if your doll used to help you?
No.
Do you know where that came from? The stove, do you know where it came from?
No.
And just going back to your doll for a moment, you said your mother gave it to
Yes,
you.
one Christmas.
One Christmas. So was she new, the doll?
Yes, I think she was, yes.
Okay, I've been handed two bears.
Well, that, is that Broomy? Broomies, yeah.
Okay, shall I swap you?
Yeah.
You pass me Sonny Jim, I'll pass you this bear.
Yes. Hello, Broomies.
Now, you said this wasn't your bear.
No, was given to Brian when he was about a year old. This bear was the origin of it. They have one of these bears in the London Zoo, and of course it was so unusual that they made, well, these sort of things out of it, and this was given to Brian when he was a year old.
So what year was that?
47, 49, 1949.
He's lovely, isn't he?
It is gorgeous.
So what's he made out of?
I don't know, it's all salt. Stuffed with something. I don't know what the outer covering is.
So when Brian got him, was he furry, the bear?
Sorry?
Was the bear furry when he was new?
Yes, he was.
So he's been well loved.
Yes, he has.
I've also been past this bear. Don't know who this is. Who's this one?
That's Michael's teddy. He had that one Christmas when he was about a year old. When Michael was about a year old. And I remember as if it was yesterday, he sat up in his cot and it was Christmas. This was in, then he looked at it and picked it up and said, "Oh, a teddy." Just like that.
So what year was that? If Michael was a year?
What the tickets was it?
1953, because Michael was born in 52.
1953, I've just been told. Does that sound right?
Yes. The year of the coronation.
So where did these two bears come from?
The little teddy came from the shop at Christmas time, and this one, some cousins came to see Brian and brought him that. Because only Brian in those days.
They're lovely bears. Thank you for showing them to the camera. I assume the camera can see them.
Yep.
Good.
Are you taking a photo of them? Have you?
Will do.
We will. We
Oh.
will. So is there anything else you want to tell us about bears and dolls? Or is that everything you can remember that you want to tell us?
I think that's about all I remember clearly.